Welcome to the Marketing Duo podcast. This is your go-to show for smart, actionable marketing strategies and mindset shifts designed to help ambitious female founders work smarter, not harder.
Hey.
How are
I'm
you?
good. Welcome to the Marketing Duo podcast, the podcast where marketing experts Cynthia of Digital Bloom IQ and Jen of Jen Vasquez Media come together to share their wealth of knowledge and insights on scaling your business.
Each episode, Cynthia and Jen dive into the latest marketing strategies, mindset shifts, and also growth tactics specifically designed for ambitious female founders who are tech savvy and eager to enhance their marketing game.
Whether you're looking to fine-tune your approach or discover innovative ways to accelerate your business, the Marketing Duo podcast provides actionable tips and inspiring conversations to help you reach your goals.
Tune in for a blend of practical advice and empowering discussions tailored to help you thrive in the ever-evolving digital landscape.
All right, so I wanted to share today on the podcast a little bit of some easy SEO actions that you can start taking to just start showing up in Google, in AI. A lot of people have been asking me about AI. We're going to have a whole other episode about that. Well, we've been talking about it ongoing, I would say. But today I wanted to, this is probably one of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do I start showing up in search? And I don't know code. I'm not technical, or maybe you are technical, but it's still very daunting. So I wanted to share some easy things you can start with right away that don't really require anything special, to be honest. If you can create a reel or if you can open up your site, that's all you need. You just need to be able to open up your site. And obviously I would say one requisite is you need to feel some sort of confidence around your business strategy of what you're selling. I would say that's good advice for all your marketing, right? You can't really go out and sell something if you don't know what you're selling. And of course there's experimentation. If you're in a first phase of your business and you're figuring things out, that's totally fine. But you need to have something to work with, because otherwise it's going to be hard to to know what to do.
Yeah. And I think this is really great for someone who even has been in business for a little bit and they're like, okay, well, my website person set it up, but you haven't touched it in 3 years. This is probably going to be a great list to go through and double check and update, because I don't know any entrepreneurs or service providers that don't change their business in some way and kind of forget to update all these things.
Totally. Yeah. All right. So the first tip is something that, maybe might make you roll your eyes a little bit, but really understanding your audience and understanding what they're searching. So this is more of a homework and market research tip, but it's so easy to do. It doesn't actually require that much brain power. The easiest thing you can do that I've recommended to people over and over is just ask people, how do you search for my business? How do you search for something online? I think that that's just the easiest way to get this information. Of course, there's tools, there's SEO tools, maybe you've heard of them. You can look in Google itself and see, you can deduce some keywords from Google. But I really recommend starting with qualitative data from your audience. And again, if you're starting out, it might feel a little daunting to do this. What I used to do at the beginning is I would go into Facebook groups and ask people there, through a post, or I would, at the end of a client call, just be do you have, or maybe not. In the client call, you have to be careful, right? Because someone's paying you for your time. But you could say, okay, I'll give you a free half an hour of coaching, or, offer them something in return. And then you can ask them, how do you search for me? You can also add to any of your contact forms, how did you find me? How did you search?
You
Yeah.
should. You should be doing
Yeah.
that. That's really important. And you should ask another clarifying question on a discovery call. So I understand you found me on Instagram. Like, were you using
Mhm.
hashtags or were you referred to me? We need to know how they
Yeah.
found you because that's what we want to do more of.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just recommend that first before going to some tool, because having that like real human data is going to help you use any research tool so much
Smart.
better. And especially now with the shift to just like really long queries, there is a big shift happening in how we are planning our content and keyword strategy. So the more human data you can get, the better, really, at the end of the day. So that's my first tip. Like today, go out, email some people, ask some people. You can even ask like your biz bestie, like me and Jen. Like I would ask her, "Hey, how do you search for this?" It doesn't have to be I mean, ideally it should be kind of your ideal audience, but it could also be like more of a colleague or someone um, who's in your industry, because they might have a different perspective on that as well.
Totally agree.
My second tip is maybe something you've heard of before, but you don't really understand, is updating your title tags and your meta descriptions. So when we search for something in Google, we get, little snippets of information. And so there's a part that's like bigger, which is kind of the title of the page. And usually, if that's our homepage, it has our business name on it. And then there's that description. So you can actually define that on your site and you can tell Google, hey, this is what I want you to show. Now, does Google always do that? No, they just do what they want. But it is like one of the few areas in all our SEO that, well, there's lots of areas, but it's a really important area that we can input information. So if we can do that, we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can, right? To give it as much information as we can. So that is one place where you would potentially put a keyword. If it's your homepage, you would put all branded words like the name of your business or your name if that's part of your business. And then the meta description is meant to entice you to click and just give you a little more information about what to expect. So you want to think about these things as kind of like your signs, at the side of the highway. If you're driving, it's the sign that says come here, right? So you need to make it really attractive. You can use something like ChatGPT to help you craft that, but at the end of the day, I also want you to think about, again, what is your audience wanting, because ChatGPT doesn't always know that. You have to tell it sometimes, but it's important to like objectively look at that, right? And understand that. And so you can define your title tags and your meta description tags for all your site pages, but I actually recommend only targeting important pages or pages that you really want people to land on. Because this is one of the things that people get so lost. They're like, I have like 1,000 pages or something on my site. I have to do all of them. Oh, I'm not going to do any. Like that's where people get stuck, right? 'Cause
That would be me. I remember when I first came to you talking about title tags. And I had merged my businesses into one. So I do all the Pinterest stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm also doing photography. And I remember this was like 2 years ago now, right? And you went in there and you're like, it says like Jen Vasquez photography. And it says all that. I'm like, oh, whoops. Like it wasn't something I thought of. So don't I say this because don't feel like, oh duh, I should have done that. It is not always that
Yeah.
easy. And this is just a nice friendly reminder.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's not like you get your title tag wrong and boom, all of a sudden Google's like, I have no idea what this business is about. I'm lost. I'm confused. Like Google's really smart. Again, AI is changing everything. So Google will understand your business if your title tag isn't right. But these are things that we can control, right? And there's so many things we can't control. But the things we can control, we need to take full advantage of them. I would say I like the gym analogy. It's kind of like if you can't do one exercise, it doesn't mean, you can't do anything at the gym. It's just like one thing is not there. And like, so you're going to do all the exercises, right? You're going to it's all about trying to check all these boxes, right? And doing everything that's possible. But there is a little bit of like, let's see if this works. And maybe for some
Yeah.
people, I think that's just life though. Like nothing, no one knows everything. If someone's telling you out there that they know everything about marketing, stop following them. Like no one knows everything. We're all experimenting, we're all learning. Of course, some things are pretty tried and true, but the industry is just always adapting, right? So anyway, I want to throw out the things we can control. All right, number 3.
Yes.
This one is slightly tippy toeing into like a kind of technical thing, but it's important, is checking the speed of your site. And this is just so important because we are more impatient than ever. And if your site's taking a long time to load, you're going to lose people. And sometimes it's not actually because of your site design or the content on your site. Sometimes it could be because of your hosting. Sometimes it can be because of something happening on the site. So it's important to do that. Now, Google itself has a kind of like performance tool inside a tool called the Google Search Console. And that's like my side tip to this one, setting up your Google Search Console. You can just Google Search Console, and you can register your site on there. You have to verify to make sure it's like, they just want to make sure it's you. And then it will basically, there's a part of this tool that allows you to look at how your site is loading under performance. You can also use like a site speed tester. There's a few different out there. One that we've used is called Pingdom, and that one just tests your website and sees how fast it's loading, like what's happening on different pages. Again, maybe this feels like a little bit awkward, but at least getting in there and looking at, okay, how are things loading, like using Pingdom, looking at how things are loading. The tool itself will tell you if something is taking too much time. And then you can go from there and you can decide, okay, do I want to kind of try and minimize the image here so it's not like 2000 pixels trying to get into 100 pixels or something like that, or the resolution or whatever. Sometimes it can also be because of plugins and apps. Like if you're on a WordPress site, WordPress is notorious. Like we just start to download plugins and plugins and plugins. And before you know it, we've got like 100 plugins and we don't even know what they're doing. Like we've said to lots of clients, like try quarterly or every 6 months to do kind of a plugin audit and a detox, because these plugins, they're running in the background of your site and they're slowing things down. And everything looks great, but then the plugin is, it's not really doing anything, but it's running and the code is running. So yeah. Oh, Jen, I don't know why I don't hear you.
Because I turned my microphone off. Because my daughter texted me. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot
That's
to turn
hilarious.
it on. Sorry for the editing.
Repeat that, what you say.
In fact, hold on 1 second. I am so bright. I don't know what is the problem right now. I'm like glowing and it's like irritating. And maybe I don't want to say this, but I know like Sky said, you don't want a bunch of if you're not using a plugin, you want to delete
Right,
it.
exactly.
Like you don't want it in
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Not just to slow down, but also that could be a weakness and a way for people to come in and do bad things.
Yeah, like from a security point of view, it's not good. Just remove plugins. But the thing is, sometimes you don't know like what you're using. Anyway, it can get confusing if you're not tech. But if you can, I guess it's kind of like trying to keep your house clean. Like if you can kind of stay on top of it, then it's not so crazy. The issue is when you leave it for years and years, and then suddenly you're like, I have no idea what all this stuff does. And you have to start to go back and email people who've worked for you and be like, do we need this? I don't know. Someone tell me.
Yeah. Ongoing cleanup will save your mind as well, because it's a lot of work otherwise.
All right, number 4. So this one's maybe something you've heard of, maybe it isn't, but I want to talk about internal linking. So one of the things that I see happen on a lot of sites is that they're doing their keywords, they're, creating great content, like the site's great, it's fast, but different parts of the site are kind of isolated from each other. and there's not really a cohesiveness in terms of how pages are linked one to another. And it does require an additional kind of layer of thought, because usually you're going about your day, you're creating a new podcast page, you're creating a new service page, you're just creating pages, creating pages, creating pages, and you're not thinking about how the pages relate to each other. Now, there are like automatic things that kind of get webbed into a page, like you might have like a related post widget at the bottom of all your blogs that link to other blogs, and that's great. But you do want to think about, okay, how do I want a visitor to come in through a landing, like through a blog page, through a podcast page? How do I want them to continue on to either other content or maybe one of my services? And so you want to really intentionally think about how the content relates to each other. For example, one way to do this is to think about your categories, like your content categories. So if you talk about, like in Jen's case, Jen has different types of services. So she might be talking about photography, she might be talking about branding, she might be talking about Pinterest. So all that content needs to link together so that someone who is reading about Pinterest, for example, will get more information about Pinterest that they want to read, or be, going into her Pinterest agency services because they're reading about Pinterest. So they're thinking about, hey, do I need to hire this out? So just even taking like an hour to think about how you want your pages to link to each other. And really, really important, how do you want your service or your product pages to link to your content pages? So your blog or your podcast pages or whatever you're doing, like in terms of content creation. Many times we've seen clients who, like, this happens more on e-commerce sites, but it can happen on a service type business, is like the service or the product pages are completely isolated from the blog pages or the content pages. And Google actually has a hard time seeing the big picture because one of these two categories is taking the full lens because they're not linked. So you want to organize it, and you want to have it in a way that it's easy for Google structurally to understand, okay, these are the product pages, but they're connected with some of these resource pages because, for example, if you sell a certain product and you're teaching people how to use it, you can have like a go-to guide, right, from the product, and vice versa. So there it's like it's easy for Google to see, oh, they sell this, but they also provide information about this, and there's a connection. So internal linking will make a big difference in your search marketing, because the more you can have this cohesiveness on your page structure, the easier it is for Google to understand what your site's about and what your business is about at the end of the day.
And I will add to that too. My website, it can lead to better traffic also when you clean that
Totally.
up. So as an example, my website designer said, okay, well, whenever they're on a blog and the main category is Pinterest, we want that blog section on those blogs to lead to other
Yes,
Pinterest content.
exactly.
And just by making that one switch, traffic
Exactly.
increased because they stayed on my website longer and go down that rabbit hole. And that sends signals to Google that you are
Yeah,
valuable, like what your content has is valuable.
absolutely.
So I think it's important for that reason. That client journey is the number one way you can get more
Yeah,
leads, I think,
yeah,
is making sure that you're putting the things in place and you're making it super easy to go from one thing to another, or just schedule a discovery
yeah,
call, right? Just above the
yeah,
fold.
yeah, yeah.
All those types of things can really, really help, I think.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot
it's
of
good.
like different types of internal links. Like we didn't talk about the top
Yeah.
navigation, the footer, like you said, like the call to actions, the buttons. Like there's so many things,
Mhm.
but to keep it concise, the idea is connecting your
For sure.
pages. But absolutely,
For
like
sure.
there's a whole kind of a whole thing. I think in my course I teach it like a whole module. I don't even know if it's a full module, but it's definitely like a meaty section because there's lots of different types of things you can do in terms of internal linking.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last tip is super easy and super, just you can do it in 5 minutes, is claiming your Google business profile. So
Ah, especially for service providers who are local.
yes.
This is Huge,
Yes. So
huge.
Google, we all know about Google Maps. Well, I'm assuming you know about Google Maps. We go in there, we search for things. I don't want to assume. Uh, and so, like Jen said, if you're a service-based business, you can also claim your business, and you can hide your address, because I know some of you are thinking, "Oh, I don't want people to show up at my house." Totally get it. I wouldn't want that either. So you can tell Google, "Hey, I'm a coach. I'm in this area," like whatever. If you're in Albany, New York, you can say, okay, this is where I coach people. But I don't actually, no one comes to my house, or maybe they do, but you're
Yeah,
in the area, right? And you can actually define
yeah.
service areas. Now, I've even seen some people like hack the system, and they'll put like areas, because it's virtual. So it's like, fine. That's not a bad strategy. The thing is, you're gonna kind of dilute your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
impact.
The
Yeah.
results.
So I actually
Hmm.
recommend, yeah, if it's a specific service, if you're like an association, you can do it also in a way where you set it up, but then there's different ways you could do it. You could have different Google profiles for each city that you're in, but again, you need an address for all of
Oh,
them, because Google will ask you to
yeah.
verify. Um, or you could have it one like base location and then put the different cities, but that makes more sense, because you have a website and you have other online presence, like other
Yeah.
platforms, to complement that. And then obviously, if you are like an actual brick and mortar location, just do it, like, please. Don't miss out on
Please.
that.
I can't tell you how many clients that I've booked just from Google My
Yeah.
Business, or do they call it something else now?
Google business profile.
Google Business
Yeah.
Profile. I'm like, every time they change
Yeah.
the name, I can never remember the new name. Um, because as a photographer, I photograph in the Bay Area, but I had Kaiser,
Yeah.
a big hospital, hire me to do headshots because I'm literally across the way from where
That's
they
awesome.
are
Yeah.
located. And so like, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have all those clients that came into me because of
Yeah.
that. So this is kind of a no-brainer,
Yeah.
I think,
I'd say that's, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like that should be step one. No.
yeah.
That was good. That was good
Yeah,
advice. I
thank
love that.
you. And I just wanted to also share something new that we're getting out there, which Jen was just hearing about it before we hit record. So I think we've talked about it. So both me and Jen have our own agencies. I have a
Yep.
digital marketing agency, and we do a lot of SEO services. And over the years, like, I've had a lot of clients, but a lot of businesses aren't really ready for a full SEO retainer. And I totally respect that. I mean, part of the reason sometimes it can just be overwhelming to work with an agency. Like, um, it's kind of like inviting someone into your home to do renovations, and you're like, oh, like, I don't, no one likes that.
Excuse the mess. Excuse the mess. It's the
um,
maid's day off.
like, there's definitely the cost. I mean, sometimes even if you have a budget, it might not even be worth it. I mean, I'm totally downplaying our done for you services. There's a time and place for a done for you SEO
For
retainer.
sure.
And there have been many.
And
Yeah,
it's also best when it's an ongoing
absolutely.
service,
Yes.
right? So done for you is considered like at least 6 months to a year
Minimum.
of working with
Minimum.
you. I'm assuming. I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
what your
minimum.
minimums are, but like,
And
yeah,
really, the clients who get the best results just even
are
see
the
it. I mean,
longer.
they see it as an ongoing thing when they hire us. They
Yep.
understand that this is just ongoing, and there's no kind of question about it. So I wanted to create, and this has been like just a long time. Been wanting to create something that's lower cost, that's very impactful, but is more for this business that needs a foundational setup, but they don't really know if they, or they don't need it right now, and they don't know if they'll ever need kind of a retainer situation. And so I've created the search and AI foundation setup, which I am so excited to be talking about, and it's just been a long time coming, really coming and going.
I think we've hinted toward it like a number of times. So yeah.
So this is a smart and a guided foundational setup, and it's designed to help you build visibility gradually and sustainably, leverage the best of both SEO and AI tools, stay focused and avoid overwhelm, and know exactly, what's going on with your search marketing. That's another thing I get asked a lot is like, I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Like there's just so much confusion, right? So
And it's a lot. It's a lot.
there's a
So
lot.
this way you get to zero in on
Yes.
the most impactful
Yeah.
things, I would imagine.
So I just want to clarify, this isn't a course or a learning kind of membership. It is a done for you SEO and AI visibility setup designed to get your business found with real implementation. Like we go in, we actually make changes, and a little bit of like guidance and support of like, hey, if you got a little
Moving
time,
forward.
well, no, during
Yeah.
as well. Like we'll be like, oh, if you want
Oh,
to, like, yeah, there's something. So some different areas we
wow.
work on is your title tags, some of your keywords set up. We do create blog content for you, which was a big decision for us to do. We set up some reporting for you to, again, gain awareness and know what's working.
That's huge.
Yes, we do AI visibility optimization, which is completely new, like really, really new. Internal linking. And then at the end, we kind of again leave you with kind of like key information for you to continue if you can. But the idea is that you walk away with a site that is fairly optimized and is ready to grow in its traffic. And you can just kind of like sigh in relief of like, okay, this is set up. And now when I'm ready or I have time to learn some of it or I decide to train someone, like there's already a foundational setup. Because Jen, I've been seeing for years and years, people avoid their SEO because they didn't have a budget, because they didn't have time. It's like, stop avoiding it. Let's get a
Yes.
foundational setup in place. And then you can ignore it and avoid it for as much time as you want, but it will grow by itself in the back, right? And then when you do have time to look at it, it's like,
Yes.
oh, this is working. Now I get to decide if I want to actually do something with this, especially if you spent time and money and energy on a beautiful site. Like, why wouldn't you do a basic SEO setup? Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And let me point out, not everybody, but when you have a website designer, they're typically the
Yeah.
designer and they're not the SEO expert. So just because you had a website designed, even if they say SEO stuff, it is not this. I do, because
Yeah.
a lot of people offer SEO stuff, but it's like, okay, like it's not what you're offering is kind of what I'm talking about. So this is amazing. And I wish I had it a couple years ago.
Yeah. So the idea is that your site's optimized for SEO and AI, and people are finding you through Google and ChatGPT and other AI tools potentially. You've got keywords on your site that people are searching and finding you, and they're like we said at the beginning.
Just finding the right keywords is half the battle.
Yes.
So this sounds like a no-brainer.
Yes. Yeah. So, so this is in the works right now. We're launching it. And if you want more information, you can just email me, Cynthia@digitalbloomiq.com, and I'll send through more information. If someone's wondering, is there like an application process? Because it's such low ticket, we don't have an application process, but when you sign up, we do ask you for your website URL.
Onboarding information.
And we're going to basically we take a quick look. And if we feel like you're not going to get results from the service, we'll refund you and let you know what we recommend you do. Like there could be different reasons why that might happen. One of them might be that your site needs more like foundational design, or just, whatever. There might be a little bit more foundation work, or maybe you don't have a clear like product or service to sell on your site. Like, we want to make sure you get the best results from this. So there is just like a slight little audit that happens at the beginning, but you don't need to worry about that. Like, just sign up and then we'll let you know. And if all is good, then we'll just go forward. And in most cases, it will be fine, because if you're listening to this, then you know what to listen for, right? Like, you know what's relevant for you.
Yes. And when it officially launches, for right now, we're going to have Cynthia's email in the show notes. But when it officially launches, we're going to change that to the actual URL to directly go there and find out more information. And if you are not ready or not sure if you want to purchase it, you want more information, sending that email to Cynthia is going to get you the information.
Yeah. And I will maybe give listeners like a little bonus or something. So I want you
Ooh,
guys to email.
that's
I want you
great.
guys to email me so that we can just chat a little bit, and then
Yes,
we can talk about that. But yeah, I'm really really
that sounds
excited for
smart.
this. I think again, it's been a long time coming, and it's taken a little bit of brain power because I just couldn't figure out a way to like create that impact and also keep it low cost. And the other thing that's kind of cool is at the end of the 6 months, you're kind of done, but then we will give you recommendations of like what to do next, right? But it's 6 months.
So you're not just like done and then waving in the
Yes,
wind.
exactly.
Like you're gonna let them
Yeah.
know next
Yeah.
steps if they
Yeah,
choose to
there's
do
a
it.
few different directions. I mean, it could be a deeper audit. It could just be like, let's get more content on there, right? And
More.
so, but
Yeah.
the idea is that it's more of a conversation of like, where are you at, right? Because I just found a lot of clients are like, well, right now I can't do blogs, but you've got the setup now, so it doesn't matter. Like you've got things kind of rolling in
Yeah.
the background, so it's good.
So smart. That is really exciting. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it's not all SEO
Mhm.
companies offer
Yeah.
that. They just are doing the retainer
Yes.
model. So that's really good.
Thanks,
I,
Jen.
I love that you offer
Yay. I'm
that.
excited for it too. I don't know. I just feel I'm just really passionate about creating something that's actually impactful and that makes a difference because
Yeah.
there's lots of, I don't know, there's lots of things we can invest in online, but it's like, what's the bottom line here? And the bottom line is this is going to be set up and it's going to start working for you. And it's something that hopefully is like a more
And
manageable.
keeps working in the
Yes.
background,
Continue to work.
right? That's the difference. I just have to
Yeah.
point this out. That's the difference when you're working on a search marketing platform like Google using SEO or Pinterest. The work you do today will work for
Yeah.
years. Now you need to go in and make updates and
Yes.
make
Yes.
tweaks.
Yes.
Like they could come back to you, Cynthia, like every
Yeah.
year and just make it more robust
Sure.
and more robust if they want to.
Yeah.
So super smart. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know just you're going to get all the information in the show notes. And until next time, we will see you next week.
See you soon.